Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to make a follow-up video to the MegaRanger and Power Rangers in Space episode talking about what I think is one of the more memorable parts of each show, and that is the Psycho Ranger arc.
お前ら一体貴様らを地獄に送ってやる。ネジレッド、ネジブラック、ネジブルー、
ネジイエロー、ネジピンク、
ジャデン戦隊、ネジレンジャー。何？
First and foremost, the Psycho Rangers are known as the NeziRangers in the Super Sentai, and I'll be referring to them only as Psycho Rangers because that's the only name that kind of just sticks in my head. NeziRangers sounds... I honestly mistook NeziRanger for NeziRanger, which is a letter off, so I read those subtitles a little bit too slow, and I was calling them NeziRangers for a bit, but then I had to look it up to make sure that Japan wasn't going to pull that card, and thank God they didn't. The arcs in both shows are remarkably similar in how they play out. The villains were created to destroy the Rangers while siphoning off power from a dark entity, destroying them both in the process, leaving the universe in the hands of their most trusted generals. Yeah, those dark entities I haven't really touched on because there's not really much to talk about, especially in the Super Sentai. That entity is Dark King Javios. I think he was like in maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and then there's going to be Dark Spectre, who's a lot more prominent in Power Rangers, so that's kudos to them. In their first appearance, it is established that the Psycho Rangers are the most formidable team of enemies the Rangers will ever face, and they kind of solidify that fact by beating them down. The first time we see it, they just whoop the Power Rangers. I think the only reason the Psycho Rangers don't destroy the Power Rangers in their first outing is that in both shows they instantly get called back for plot reasons by the generals. They're like, oh no, can't beat them now. Just come on back. Just you gave them a little taste. Just bring them on back. If the Psycho Rangers were let loose and they just let go, they easily could have defeated the Power Rangers and went home with a giant W, and the series would have ended with this arc. That's how dangerous these guys were. They could easily beat them in an altercation in any way, shape, or form. And also, just to kind of add on to that, the fight scenes involving the Psycho Rangers are the best in the entire show. They're so fun to watch. They're always action-packed. Those guys are brutal, and it's just it's so fun. In Power Rangers, however, they didn't really have much of a backstory, as in MegaRangers. In that show, it was established that they are the power suits of Dr. Saejima before he became Dr. Hinlar. It's at this point that Dr. Kabuta figures out that his former associate is alive and very evil.
残念だがここにはネジレンジャーに関する手がかりは残っておらんぞ。
鮫島、目を覚ませ。ネジレンジャーに協力することの意味が分かってるのか。
分かってるさ。分かっていないのは久保田、お前の方だ。
So yeah, honestly, I thought that was something that Power Rangers just really didn't touch on at all, was any sort of backstory for the Psycho Rangers. In MegaRangers, it was really cool to see the arc between Dr. Kabuta and him realizing that, oh man, I've been fighting my friend this whole time. He had been working towards finding his friend and saving him from the Nezi dimension, but the dude just was such a pompous, selfish ass the whole time that he went to this other dimension, got warped and turned really evil, and then he started becoming jealous of Kabuta the whole time and blaming him for all of this stuff that just doesn't make any sense. But you didn't have that in Power Rangers. There nothing. I think Astronema just just woke up one morning and was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna make evil rangers that can beat up these guys. And that's about it. And it almost worked until she was like, I'm also gonna hook him up to Dark Spectre, drain his power. Great plan also, but like I said earlier, if she had just let him turn loose, she could have just defeated the Rangers and then probably turned him on Dark Spectre himself. But that's just, out there.
We have them!
Why did you stop us?
You'll finish them when I decide.
Oh yeah? And when will that be?
Remember your place, psychos. I'll tell you as much as I decide to tell you. Now leave me!
So the next point I wanted to talk about here was the episode Silence is Golden in Power Rangers in Space and Lose Them Evil Pursuers in MegaRanger. This is probably one of the best examples of how good Power Rangers in Space adapted certain stories from MegaRanger. I think it's up there with some of the... No, actually, if I were to be honest, it's the best adapted episode ever in this show. So the plot is that the Psycho Rangers set forth on this plan to find the Power Rangers in their everyday lives by using recordings of their voices, which is really smart because they've already fought them. They already know what their communicators sound like. They're just trying to be on the offensive more and find the Rangers while they aren't transformed and then beat them there, which it wasn't a bad idea. And they used it by using the recordings they had of all the Rangers as they fought. But the specific part of the thing that makes these episodes so memorable is that they're both really suspenseful. There's a real sense of dread in both of these episodes, and not only if you want to watch any episode from these seasons, you want to watch these two because the sense of suspense and the drama in the show is just really good, and it really didn't really get lost in translation either. Power Rangers adapted it almost page for page from the Super Sentai, and it shows. And big kudos to the actors in the roles of Pink Rangers in both shows. They did a phenomenal job kind of just keeping the suspense alive throughout the whole entire episode because it focused on them. Really, really good. Definitely something that establishes that the Psycho Rangers not only are formidable threats, that they are very capable in planning also. I think that the NeziRangers had a bit more character compared to the Psycho Rangers. However, the Psycho Rangers were more memorable, being that they returned in the later series. So the NeziRangers are really fun to watch, and they're really cool just in concept, I think, alone, because these guys come in, they kick ass, and they take names, and they kind of just get destroyed in the end. But the Psycho Rangers, it was such a great adaptation of them that they did return in the later series, and I think their second outing was a little bit more memorable, especially for Psycho Pink. If anyone has seen Lost Galaxy and the arc with the Savage Sword, that's one of my favorite arcs in the entire Power Ranger anything, was the Savage Sword arc. And if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's really fun, and it builds upon how menacing and threatening the Psycho Rangers could be. You thought they were already threatening in space, but when Psycho Pink comes back in Lost Galaxy, Jesus, she's just on another level. And she actually she takes names. She has a kill under her belt too, but that's for a later episode. So in the end, again, I think this is one of the most memorable parts of MegaRangers and Power Rangers in Space. The Psycho Rangers were, I think, one of the reasons that people will always remember Space, because these guys were fucking awesome. The MegaRangers was already great, and when they brought the NeziRangers in and they had their original arc, it was a really cool addition to the show. And it sucks that they really... I looked it up, and there are evil Ranger teams that follow these, but I don't think that they were as memorable and as threatening as the NeziRangers. Then again, I haven't seen those episodes, so I'm not sure. But just my opinion, how they look, it's like, you guys weren't on these dudes' level. These guys are brutal. and it was really fun to watch them. So again, if this is your first time, you're just like wondering, like, I don't want to watch all of Power Rangers in space, or I don't want to watch all of Mega Rangers. In my opinion, just like watch these arcs. And I should have the episodes outlined somewhere in the video. If I haven't put them the episodes of where they appear in the video somewhere, I would definitely put them right here, but I'm pretty sure I'll get to it. But yeah, so it's Solidify. These guys are awesome. Watch their episodes and enjoy. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna call it with that, and I'll see you next time.
I hear them. I knew they made a mistake. Let's move! I think... Yes! This time we've got them! What's this?
And besides, did you see how they were running? It's great. I love this show.